everybody. Welcome to the QuiverCast.
You go left, I go right. Man, this wave is out of sight. Going surfing, going surfing, going surfing with friends.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to the QuiverCast. And today we are stoked. We have Hank Gaskell. How are you doing, Hank?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Thank you for doing this. I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah, thank you.
Been a big fan of your surfing for years. So
Thanks. Appreciate it.
So you live in Maui, but you're removed kind of from the rest of the world. How does that feel?
Yeah, especially out in Hana, it's just pretty much a whole different world in the jungle, and it's nice in these times of chaos.
Being in Hana, is that where you grew up? Where did you grow up at?
Yeah, I grew up in Hana. My parents moved there like a year before I was born. They're from Washington and California.
So your mom's from Washington, or your dad, or who's from Washington?
Yeah, my mom's from Washington.
Okay, and your
my
dad
dad lived up there for a period of time. He had a tree planting business.
Okay,
on the peninsula.
Is that where they met?
Yep.
And then your dad surfed too, right?
Yeah, he loved it. From a pretty young age, he grew up in LA, so he would surf whenever he got a chance. I think they came on vacation to Hawaii, found Hana, and moved back. They went back to the mainland, got all their stuff, and moved back like a month later.
Okay.
And I think right around then I was conceived. So
right on.
I'm glad.
Has Hana changed over the last few decades, or is it kind of staying the same?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot more tourism.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from that, it's basically the same as when my childhood there. Yeah, it's really cool seeing the next generation of kids growing up and basically the same way we did. We were a little more hippie vibes with our parents, and now everybody's like kind of more responsible and have more creature comforts.
The road to Hana, which is pretty famous because of all this tourists, is that a harder stretch to even make now, being a local?
Yeah, it can be pretty frustrating. It's you want to time it. I try to plan my trips when I go back and forth to Hana on the other side. Usually about an hour and a half to 2 hours, but I time it early morning or late in the evening, and then it's the tourist traffic's more mellow.
Do you know all the turns by heart now?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I've driven
totally memorized
too many times.
But it is a beautiful area. I mean, probably as beautiful as you can get in this world, literally.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're pretty fortunate. There's a lot of little hidden nooks and some waves, good spearfishing, a lot of hunting, and just beautiful valleys separating Hana from the other side.
With you living your whole life there, can it get lost? Do you forget sometimes how pretty it is? Do you have to go elsewhere to see that it's not as pretty there and come home and appreciate it? Or
no, I don't really have to. I feel like I appreciate it so much every day. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I count my blessings here.
All right. So what is a young, obviously surfer, young Grom has probably plenty of waves there, or maybe you don't, I don't know growing up, but what is a young Hank? What does he do in life? Like being young.
Yeah. My friends and I I grew up with Benell and Ola Ellegram and Deja O'Connell, and then later Makana Ellegram and a couple other guys. We'd surf every day. It would only be us out 90% of the time. And Hana is the east side, so we get a lot of wind swell. It's rarely any good, but there's almost always waves. So yeah, we would just surf as much as we could. And I think my dad and my other friend Collie, his dad, kind of got us into surfing, take us on surf safaris to the other side of the island, go compete. Those were just my favorite times growing up. And my dad, he always loved surfing and baseball. And when he was younger, he played baseball, and he of course, wanted to be pro. And so he pushed me a lot, made me work out, do yoga, and I'd paddle towing a 5-gallon bucket.
Wow.
from about 10 years old, training for nationals, and it paid off. I won my first national championship when I was 11.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, I've got to thank him a lot for everything he did, pushing me and my friends in surfing. Was yeah, but we clashed at times, but
I'm sure.
it's overall a good thing.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you remember your first waves and like what beach you're at and all that kind of stuff? Was it a soft wave?
Yeah, Hamoa Beach is really good for learning. We started on boogie boards in the shore break. I don't remember our first session because it was before I
Yeah.
have memories, I think.
Yeah.
I definitely remember my first surfboard. It was old Maui Tropics with a broken nose, and yeah, just we'd stand up on our boogie boards before that, and yeah, Hamoa was great, and then Koki is a little more consistently waves, not the greatest for beginners usually, but yeah, it's perfect training grounds for kids.
Were the other kids already there? Were they established? Like, how did you guys become friends and start to surf together?
I grew up right next door to the Elegram family. There's
So you're neighbors.
Yeah, 6 kids.
Okay.
And yeah, we'd just walk to the beach, hitchhike, and stay out till dark every chance we got.
So how was the session? You said you guys were all by yourselves most of the time.
Yeah, we had freedom to roam. That's one thing that's changed. Everybody's a lot more protective. And yeah, I remember from like, we must have been like 9 or 10 years old, and we would just walk down to the coast right behind our house and go explore the coastline, go fishing some days when there was no waves. And then, yeah, Hamoa was our second home. Koki was our third home.
Okay, so then you went to Hokipa or whatever. Now you got a lot of people surfing, I'm guessing. Probably like windsurfers and everything else too. Like there's a population. How different's that?
Yeah, I started going to Hokipa and Lahaina Harbor to compete when I was pretty young. Also, Laniapoko, I think, was my first contest ever. I actually got like a full page photo in the newspaper.
Oh wow, that's rad.
We have it somewhere, but it's I have like the full Waimea stamp, and there's like a ripple behind me.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, from pretty young, I started going out there to compete, and then I had a friend on the west side. His mom would take care of all of us, and Jake DePola is his name. He's in the Coast Guard, and good dude. But yeah, his mom took in all us Hana kids. He grew up in Hana like when he was really young, so we knew each other. And then she'd take us to Honolulu Bay, and that was like,
wow, yeah,
the greatest thing in the world to us when we were 10 years old.
Do you remember scoring that like perfect, like your first time? Like, what was the feeling like?
Yeah, I mean, growing up in Hana, it's just crappy wind swell most of the time, and Hokipa is a little better, maybe. But Honolulu is a perfect wave, and I still get out there every chance I get and love it.
Was it like eye-opening for you coming from like kind of probably sloppier waves?
Yeah. We didn't know you could go that fast on a wave or like sit in a barrel. We'd get like little tiny head dips here and there, but Honolulu, you get the right wave. And it was a lot less crowded back then, and also windmills we loved. Just getting barreled is, who doesn't love that? It's the kind of the pinnacle of surfing.
Were you getting barreled at 10 years old? Like, was it already happening?
It was probably a little later before we started getting real barrels, and yeah, from about 10 till 15, we'd go spend every chance we got in the winter over there and score good waves.
So basically surfing in your life, your whole life.
Yeah, it's been a great blessing.
So as a Grom, what were you thinking you were going to do? Were you like pro surfing in your eyesight?
Yeah, I mean, my dad was also my baseball coach, so my first dream or thought was to be a pro baseball player and a pro surfer, but
well, that'd be cool.
Then I found out that the seasons overlap, so I was like, I'm a little better at surfing, so
okay.
This.
Are you a good baseball player?
Not anymore.
Okay. Sure. But back in the day, you felt you were pretty good?
I was okay. I was never very good. But and my dad would pick all my friends to be on the team, so we'd all rather surf. So we all, yeah, we were never a very good team.
Okay, so it was surfing's always been first, and baseball for fun.
Yeah.
Didn't take it too serious. Was your dad stoked on surfing? Like you being in a contest? Did you have to ask him, or did he offer you this
No,
opportunity?
he always pushed me. He was a bit of a soccer dad.
Okay, was he?
And yeah, like I said, I hated it at times, but then I would win events and I would, yeah, be grateful. And yeah.
Describe some of the breaks on the Hana side. If you don't have to give names or anything, but like the wave itself, is there like a lot of rocks, like a lot of reef, like
Yeah,
beaches?
there's a few decent reef breaks that get good on if we get a big north swell and light wind, that's when Hana kind of lights up.
Okay.
But like 99% of the time it's east wind, so everywhere's onshore.
Yeah.
So we love the offshore days, but it doesn't happen often. Koki is usually a beach break. On a north swell, it breaks out on the rocks and can be a really fun, rippable right. Hamoa is, I think to this day, my favorite wave. It's almost a novelty wave, but you can actually do really good surfing. And on like a big hurricane swell, you get a huge drop, which is really exciting. It gets up to like 6-8 feet and just doubles up gnarly. And then you get the right wave, you roll into the double up on the inside, and it sometimes can barrel. Sometimes you get a big air section or just carves. And yeah, it's so playful and fun.
So there was no older generation out there with you or pushing you guys?
Yeah, there was Kelly and Kamaki Everett, Carl Bertelman. Yeah, a few more guys, but we were the only guys that would go every day.
Okay. They were picking their sessions.
All or none. We were out there.
Do you ever get stuck in this heavy situation, like paddle out and it's like, oh shit, it's way bigger than I thought? Or
one time, an older guy's leash broke on a big day, and Hamoa is like a small bay, so it gets really strong current. And his leash broke, and he wanted me to help him get in. And I'm like this 10-year-old kid, and he like jumps on my board and he's paddling, and I'm like riding on his back. And finally, like a set comes, and we ride in, and I'm like in the whitewater thinking I'm going to drown. And I remember being really scared, but we popped out and it was fine.
Okay, cool. All right. So you start having some success in contests. So you start traveling, going to California and other things. What'd you think of that?
Yeah, I remember seeing the NSSA Nationals in Surfer and Surfing magazines, and just thinking it was such a dream. I remember photos of Joel Centeo and Keiko Bacalso. They're both a couple years older than me.
Yeah.
And I think maybe they had won the year prior to me competing. It was just glassy, perfect lowers, and that's when it became my dream. And yeah, I did really well that first year. I think I won regionals and then went to nationals and won. Yeah, those were good times.
How different was California from when home, basically?
I remember adjusting to the cold was hard. Wearing a wetsuit. I was always the one in surf shorts that was shivering on the beach.
Yeah, freezing your ass off.
But the site kept me warm too during the heats, and yeah, and just way more playful waves.
Yeah,
and like consistently good sections. Growing up in Hana, you like surf all day and you get like 3 okay sections.
Yeah.
Really lay into. So it's cool to be able to link a whole wave together.
What about like the crowds and stuff, and the other younger kids from around the nation?
Yeah, I remember my main rivals at that age is TJ Barron. He's from Oahu, and Brad Burdick. Was the kind of the California kid that was blowing up at that time. And yeah, from a really young age, I just loved competition, and people assume that I'm mellow, and I am in most ways, I guess. But when I put a jersey on, I want to win, and I'll do anything I can.
Okay, so what does that mean? Like anything you can? Does that mean is like everything from paddling around, or?
I mean, at that age, it was always friendly. I guess more so on the QS, everybody gets more aggressive. I remember it being pretty friendly and like taking turns at the young age.
Okay. So it was all overall fun. So you're getting older now and you're competing more. How are you doing?
I had some success. I won a few smaller QSs. Made the final of the Sunset
Uh-huh.
6-star. That was my biggest result in a bigger event. I don't know. I never finished really high on the QS. I had issues. I rode for Hurley my first couple of years traveling and competing and on the QS, and Ola Elegram was my main travel buddy, and
Okay.
we just didn't know what we were doing. We didn't have coaches like all the kids nowadays. We just,
Yeah.
I don't know how our parents let us go. Our first trip to Europe, we were going to France for like a month. It was me, Ola, and Luke Walsh, and we got there. I think we were 17 years old, had nowhere to stay, so we like caught a cab to the beach, got a hotel close by, and then there was this big festival. Is south of France, like Biarritz area, and every hotel in the city was booked up. So we take all our stuff, get a cab back to the beach. We ended up sleeping on the beach for probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 nights throughout the trip. We had to camp on the beach, maybe
No.
more even. But one of the nights we got all of our stuff ripped off,
No.
or not all of it, but a lot of our stuff got stolen.
Shit.
But that was also a blessing in disguise too. We had to go up to Paris to get new passports,
What your
and
passports are
so
on
we
to.
got to experience the Louvre and the Eiffel Tower. But that was a rough summer there. We got caught in a crazy thunder and lightning storm, and it was a good learning experience. I think we started trying to plan a little more after that. But
That's
overall,
funny.
in the beginning, we just didn't really know what we were doing, and so we never had real good success. Maybe I just wasn't good enough. I don't know.
No, you're ripped. Okay, let's go back to that trip though. 3 of you guys as teenagers, were you guys supporting each other, or was there arguments like, "Oh shit, it's your fault. This shit got like." How was it amongst yourselves during the stressful moments?
Yeah, I mean, we were young and resilient. We took it in stride, and
Okay.
we always had each other's backs, and
Oh, that's cool.
we knew we'd get through. But it wasn't like ideal for trying to win surf contests when you're shivering all night on the beach, sleeping on your board bag.
Did you meet anybody else there you knew, like, or did you make other friends at that point?
Yeah. From around that age, we started making good friends from all over the world, and that was, one of the coolest things about surfing is it really is a family, and there are so many good people. And actually, I really miss a lot of my friends on tour.
Okay,
I still
bet.
see some of them now and then, but it was really fun going to every event and seeing the same friends and celebrating victories, and we had a pretty cool crew.
So, what are some of the places you travel to besides Europe?
Geez. Yeah, we used to travel so much for the QS. I don't know, South Africa, Australia, Maldives, yeah, all over California, the East Coast, Japan. Been everywhere there's surf contests, just about.
With a lot of traveling going on, did you have put time aside to go like tourist stuff, or was it like surf my heats and I'm on to the next contest kind of thing?
Yeah, unfortunately, it was kind of more like that. Like,
Okay.
go compete, win or lose, go party with your friends, and then go home. And I kind of didn't realize how amazing the places we went were. And
Okay.
now, so obviously now when I travel, I'm like a little more intentional about it and try to stay longer and really enjoy the culture. And yeah.
Does that come with age, you think, or is that because you don't have a job to do now?
Yeah, I think we were just one track mind at that point. That was to qualify for the CT. Yeah, unfortunately never made that. But yeah, developed a really good surfing family.
That's
Over
cool.
the QS.
Do you watch pro surfing today?
Yeah, I love it. And I'm so happy the WSL is going back to the old format.
Okay, I agree. I think the world agrees with you. I think
Oh
most
my
do.
gosh, I can't believe they did such a bad job the last few years with the finals. ridiculous.
I didn't really like the finals, but there was excitement in the final.
Oh
I
yeah,
can't say
yeah,
they did build that excitement up.
yeah.
But
It was very exciting. I watched it, but it's just not how you decide a world champion in surfing.
yeah, I
It's
would
got to
agree. I
be.
think the world spoken.
Everybody thinks that. I don't know how they kept the finals that long, but I'm really happy they're going back, and it's really cool now. We have a lot of young Maui guys we get to root for.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, 3 of them fell off at the mid-year cut, but they'll be back.
Yeah, for sure. And the mid-year cut's going away also next year.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the surfing's as good as when you were on doing the QSs now in the Challenger Series? What do you feel about that?
Oh, it's
or is it even better?
now.
Way better now?
Yeah. Yeah, the shit guys are doing on the CT, I'm just blown away every event. And they really bring their A game. Like Yago just won lowers, and I just was baffled how well he was surfing. And I mean, everybody was surfing amazingly. Kanoa, Griffin, and Ethan's one of my favorites out there. And that was a really fun event to watch. And yeah, I'm just a huge fan of surfing and seeing the level go up and up.
What do you think about the Challenger Series? There was nothing like that when you were on tour.
Yeah, I think they have a way better format now, because when we were doing it, there was like 100 events a year.
Mhm.
So from 1 star to 6 star,
Yeah.
everything in between. And now they just have the regional qualifiers and then the Challenger Series, which is, I feel like it's a more direct path. Yeah, and the cream rises to the top. All the guys on tour are the best surfers in the world. And yeah.
Well, how do you feel about like the quality of waves on the Challenger Series though versus when you go on tour? Now all of a sudden you're surfing heavier, bigger waves.
Yeah, it's obviously not as good as the CT, but they made some improvements, I think.
And they added pipe this year.
Yeah,
Or
that'll be
this year or next year, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that this year ends in January or February
Mm-hmm.
next year, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, I've been watching some of the Challenger events, cheering for the Maui boys. You got Imai, Ian, Eli, and Jackson. So yeah, love those kids and love rooting for them.
And the quality of surfing in Maui is so high. I mean, everyone seems to rip when you go there. You see these guys and they're killing it. Like,
Yeah,
they're grouped together, but they all surf like phenomenal, right?
yeah. We've got some rippers. You go down to Hokipa on a good like a 4-foot north swell with light wind, and you see some of the best surfing in the world go down.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. There's only a few places in the world where you can see that many, such a group of surfers that surf that well. And even the guys that you never heard of are ripping.
Yeah.
Or then maybe the nation. Or the other.
And there's Matt and Albie, who are good friends of mine. They're just still doing the craziest airs ever when it's howling wind and nobody else wants to go out.
Why do you think the surfers are so good in Maui?
Good question. Anywhere you've got good waves, you're going to have good surfers. So I don't think it's particularly more dense than anywhere else that has good surf.
We have to talk about Jaws since it's not that far from your house.
Yeah.
Do you surf it?
I've been out there a handful of times, and it's too much for me.
Well, it's too much for most.
Yeah, I'm a medium wave surfer. I like good waves, not life-threatening waves. It's so crazy out there. The times I've been out there and seeing my friends get like 50-foot waves, and that's another thing. The level they've gotten, Albie and Kai, and just a bunch of guys are just getting huge barrels now, and being out there is a whole different level. It's so much bigger and scarier than it looks on TV.
I know.
Instagram.
It 100% has to be. Can they push it much further, do you think? Because it seems like they're pushing it hard now.
Yeah, I remember when I was young, they called it the unridden realm, and they thought it was impossible to surf it without towing in. So nobody could foresee where it's at now. And yeah, now we're looking at it like it's so much better than it was. Like, how can they get any better? But I do think people always find ways. The curve will probably slow down, but people are going to, their fitness is getting better. Equipment's getting better. They'll find a way.
Yeah. A little bit more about Maui. To me, it seems like Maui is tourist based. Is that good for the island? And is the economy really based around tourism?
It 100% is. I mean, it's easy to sit back and wish that it wasn't, think that we'd have a thriving economy without it. But I mean, people have the right to travel here, and
Of course.
so it's great if locals can make a good living off the tourism. And so, yeah, it is what it is.
It is. Was it always tourist based? Like when you were a kid?
I think so. I think since before I was born is probably the main economy, since like the sugarcane and pineapple plantation days. It's definitely expanded though. It can be a bit overwhelming at times. It was actually really nice throughout COVID.
Oh, I bet.
They wouldn't even let people from the other side of the island go to Hana for like 6 or 8 months.
Ooh, I didn't know that. That's
so
crazy.
It was just only Hana people. Everybody's getting checks in the mail from the government. So we're like,
that's good. Yeah.
It was pretty cool to feel like I was a kid again with just nobody on the beaches that we love that are now loaded with tourists every day.
In Hana, and you said there's other things to do. What are some of the things you would also do if the waves weren't good or you're just burned out on surfing for a day?
My dad always instilled in me farming. I always loved planting trees and harvesting fruit. Also, spearfishing is
you're gnarly at that.
When there's no surf, I'm out spearfishing.
So talk about that. Like, are you free diving, like holding your breath and all that?
Yeah. Mostly just reef stuff, but we've got a really good biodiversity and a lot of great eating reef fish. So yeah, my friends and I, when we were pretty young, we had poles, but we didn't know what we were doing, so we never caught anything. And when the first time I went diving, I was like, oh wait, like there's all these fish, they're not biting our hook, but we can just shoot them. This is way more fun. And it's meditative being underwater, being quiet, and it's just beautiful. And probably half of the time I don't even shoot a fish if I don't find the one I want. And the ones I want are usually the hardest ones to get.
Yeah.
But if we're really wanting fish, we can always go out and get. And that's
so that kind of came natural to you, just your environment.
Yeah.
How'd you grow that love for that?
Yeah.
What about like invasive species on the reefs and stuff?
Yeah, there are a handful of fish that we target that prey on the like local reef fish, like particularly the roy or peacock grouper. Okay. I actually host an event the last 2 years. I've hosted, it's called the Roy Roundup, and I've gotten a bunch of donations from Patagonia and Maui Sporting Goods. Wow. And so we have a raffle afterward, but we just go out in the morning and everybody kills as many roy as they can. And I hope we're making a difference. They're also like known carriers of ciguatera.
I don't know what that is, but okay.
I think it's a neurotoxin that a lot of fish carry. Makes you really sick.
Oh shit!
So nobody eats them, but I also don't think that we have much ciguatera in Hana because it proliferates where there's more dead reef, and our reef is very vibrant, biodiverse. And my goal with running the event is just to keep it that way, because if there's one dominant species of fish that attacks the other fish, pretty soon we're not going to have that biodiversity. And they're crazy looking fish that have giant mouths, thousands of teeth, and they do a lot of damage. So,
and they're not from your region?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were introduced. They're a grouper, and I think they're really good eating. Some people eat them. Yeah, I actually haven't heard of anybody getting ciguatera, but not many people eat them. And I do have friends who have gotten ciguatera from other fish, so it's not only the roy that carry it.
Okay. So. You can't cook that toxin out, or how does that? No, it's in there. You're screwed.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of heavy.
Yeah, I think it's kind of similar to like dengue fever or something, or malaria.
wow.
You get like chills and heat and sweats and achy bones. Sounds really bad.
Yeah, it sounds
I
like we
hope
don't
I never
want it.
get it.
Yeah. Okay, so you do this free diving thing, and that becomes natural just because of where you live. What about your beekeeping? Are you actually a beekeeper?
I am. Yeah,
Okay.
I have around 15 or 20 hives, and I sell my honey at the farmers market
That's rad.
along with a bunch of other stuff. I do dry bananas, fruit roll-ups. Right now I'm baking some ulu or breadfruit to sell at the market. I do coconut milk, coconut candy. Yeah, lots of good stuff.
How did you get into beekeeping?
Yeah, so beekeeping is kind of funny. My mom watched some documentary and thought it was the coolest thing ever, and would always tell me, "Oh, we need to get bees." Like, tell me how cool they are. I'm like, "Go for it, mom. It's all you." Like, I don't want to deal with it. And she kept bugging me, and then finally, I like watched the documentary. Might have been the same one. Even I think it was Queen of the Sun.
Okay,
Really good documentary, and
I'll check that
that kind
out.
of sparked it in me. I was like, "Oh, maybe you're right." And my neighbor is a beekeeper, so I kind of learned from him in the beginning, and definitely fell in love with it. They're pretty fascinating.
Is it a specific species that you deal with, or is there a specific species on the island?
I'm not really clear on that. I feel I
Okay.
understand the bees and do a lot of hive removals out of people's houses.
I saw that on your Instagram. Yeah,
Yeah, they love moving into walls and floors and ceilings. And
gnarly.
so I go cut them out and throw them in a box and take them home.
Initially, were you scared of bees or being stung?
No,
No.
I've never had a bad reaction to them.
Okay, so you're not allergic, so that's good.
Fortunate.
What are you wearing for protective equipment when you're going in? The full
Yeah,
bee thing?
just a regular bee suit.
All right. There is on your Instagram though, you're in trunks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Now and then when you're doing a removal, you can kind of sense that they're not trying to attack anymore. They've kind of just given up. Like
really?
the battle's over.
Really? It's interesting.
Yeah, you can hear the change in their buzzing. When it's a really aggressive hive, they're like bouncing off the screen on your face trying to get to you to sting you. But once you give them enough smoke, they mellow out. Once the hive's all taken apart, they kind of just give up and stop trying to sting you. So then you can take your suit
Interesting.
off and play around a little bit.
Okay. Do you push it?
Sometimes I push it a little too far, and there's one or two bees that are still angry and end up running away.
Okay. Okay. What's the benefits of having the bees? Obviously, it pollinates the local fruit and vegetables.
Yeah, I know a lot of places in the country and the world, I guess, are having issues with colony collapse disorder.
So I'm hearing, yeah.
But I think that's a lot more with like industrial bee farming
Mm.
and monocropping, pesticides, which here we have enough wilderness that I think that the local bee populations are pretty strong and healthy.
Okay.
We're fortunate we don't have the varroa mite yet, knock on wood, but we have hive beetle and wax moth, which are pretty bad pests, but they're tolerable, and a strong hive can deal with them on its own. I guess just the local colonies that move into people's houses, which would otherwise potentially be poisoned, I'm rehoming them. Then I turn a profit. I sell a lot of honey, and I sell some colonies as well. If I end up having too many, I try to sell a few. I figured 15 to 20 is a sweet spot for me.
Okay. And there is a benefit to local honey, right? Especially if it being local.
Yeah, I have heard that it helps people with their allergies.
Yep.
So yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Is there different hives that have different flavored honey? Is that a thing?
Yeah. So there's all over town. Sometimes you get real dark stuff. I believe is from avocados.
Okay.
Make really dark, syrupy honey.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the honey from my property is really light and citrusy, and also delicious. I have a hive up at my wife's mom's house up in Kula,
Mm-hmm.
and up there we get like a really thick texture honey. It's kind of the more creamy stuff. Basically, the whole stretch from like Uliino, which is where I have two properties in Hana, and one of them is Uliino,
Mm-hmm.
and the honey is inedible from Uliino to like Nahiku, maybe even farther. I've done a few removals,
Really?
and the honey is completely bitter, and I believe I've been told that it's from the rubber tree, and there used to be a rubber plantation down there, so there's just tons. It's like a rubber tree forest, and yeah, it makes really bitter honey.
It's not edible, but is that because of the flavor or is that because it's actually toxic?
I don't know. I mean, I've eaten it, nothing's happened, but
Okay.
it's
It
disgusting.
just tastes like shit.
Yeah.
Okay. You're newly married. What does your wife think about your beekeeping? Is she into it?
Yeah, she loves it. She suits up sometimes when she has time, and we'll do honey harvest together and removals. We've done a lot of removals together.
How much honey are you getting in?
Um,
How often?
it varies. I have some weaker hives that I never touch. Some I harvest once a year. Some I harvest every 6 months. The stronger hives, I'm probably producing each harvest every 6 months. I'm probably producing 8 or 10 gallons of honey.
Wow.
Isn't it's not a ton, but it keeps
Seems like a lot.
keeps Hana stocked.
Yeah.
And actually, no, it's actually probably a lot more than that, because all the removals I do, I'll get additional. At times, no honey. At times, you get a 5-gallon bucket. And
Okay. Wow.
so, yeah.
What is the process of that?
Yeah, the wild hives are a lot more difficult. You got to squeeze the honey out of it and put it through like a strainer bag. Old big hives are really tough, so you get a good hand workout.
Now, what does the queen do during this whole process?
Ideally, you find the queen and put her in the box, but when you're dealing with tens of thousands of bees, it's pretty hard to find her. So I usually just take as many bees as I can and get them in the box. I have a special vacuum that's made for bees, so I'll suck them all up and relocate them. And yeah, sometimes I'll find the queen if I'm lucky, but usually I just try to get as many bees as I can, get as much of the comb that I can, and put it in the box with all the eggs and larvae and pollen. Then I take most of the honey, leave them some so they can eat when they're relocated.
Okay.
And then just put them all in a box and close it up at night, ideally. So they all go back in the box if you've done a good job with the removal. Yeah, take it at night when it's closed up, and then open it up when you got a good spot for them.
So from the movie, you decided you want to be a beekeeper. Did someone help you? Did someone teach you, or was it all like books? And
It was my neighbor.
Okay.
He had been a beekeeper for a long time,
and he was cool enough to teach you.
Yeah. There was the first one he helped me with. It was a giant hive in this big old stump, very aggressive hive, and the stump went down into the ground. So they were like in caves in the rocks, and it was just a really messy job, and it didn't work out. You learn a lot every removal you try, and often you don't succeed because there's a million things that can go wrong. The second one was actually right next to my house. I found a hive that was in an old styrofoam cooler. So that was a very easy, one of the easiest removals I've ever done. That became one of my strongest hives and biggest producers. And
out of luck, huh? Kind of.
A lot of luck.
Just because you found the cooler. If I'm taking a hike in Maui and I come across a hive of bees, are they going to be aggressive towards me? Like,
yeah, if you leave them alone, they're not going to bother you.
Okay.
But if you step on them, you get stung. If you go right up to the hive, obviously, they're going to think you're an intruder. You can sneak up right behind the hive entrance, but if you go in their flight path, that's when they see you as a potential threat, and
Wow.
they spray you with a pheromone that tells all their friends to attack you.
Oh shit! So it can be super dangerous.
Yeah, if you're not suited up, you
Okay.
can outrun bees though. So if you can run fast,
Really?
yeah.
I feel like okay. I'll take your word for it. I hope this never happens to me. I'm just curious because it's kind of fascinating to me.
Yeah.
The whole bee thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as
Crazy.
you don't, if you don't mess with them, they leave you alone. Because if they sting you, they die. Every bee that stings and dies, that makes the hive that much weaker, and they want to stay strong. So they only attack if provoked.
All right. So you also been going traveling, like going camping and snowboarding and stuff. How's that? Getting off the
Yeah,
island.
yeah. It's been awesome. My wife is a physical therapist, and
Oh, okay, cool.
so we recently we've been home about 2 years now, but before that, we spent a year in San Francisco and then a year in Colorado. And
Oh,
I split the time. I would go back and forth
okay.
often, but
Hmm.
I'd spend about half of the year in those places. Definitely fell in love with Colorado. That was
Yeah,
a
it
really
looks pretty.
special place. The mountains are just so beautiful and expansive, and yeah, I love snowboarding. And then
Okay.
we had planned to only stay through the winter,
Hmm.
and everybody told us like, oh, you're here for the winter, like you gotta stay for summer and like get a mountain bike and go hike and camp out and go fish for trout. So we did that, and it was an amazing experience. And my wife's dad actually moved up there like probably 6 or 7 years ago. He lived on Oahu for a really long time. He was a fireman there, and which was also really cool because I'd stay with him when I was competing on the North Shore. Yeah, he retired the fire department and moved up to Colorado, so we still have a home there when
Yeah,
we
you got
want
a
to
place
come
to
back and
crash.
visit.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
a lot of good friends up there too.
So what does that do for the surfing game? Does that bring you backwards a little bit?
A little bit, but I mean, if you're biking and hiking all the time and snowboarding, your
Yeah.
legs get really strong and your endurance is good. So
Yeah.
surfing's like riding a bike. It comes back
Is
after.
it?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think it's that easy, but all
Well,
right.
I guess I have noticed, to be honest, as you get older, it gets a little harder.
It's a lot harder. Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's scary. But
What about San Francisco? Did you surf up there? Did you go to Santa Cruz or surf Ocean
yeah, I
Beach or
surfed
anything?
Santa Cruz a bit. Surfed Ocean Beach a lot. We lived right next to Ocean Beach, and had a couple of pretty awesome days there in the winter. It was yeah, it's a pretty epic wave.
How are you accepted there as an outsider?
Yeah, everybody seemed nice. I don't know.
All right, cool.
Never had any issues.
It gets heavy up there though, right? Ocean Beach?
Like localism.
No,
Or,
both actually. Local. I was always. I mean, but the waves get heavy is what actually what I was talking about.
yeah, definitely had a few pretty heavy days out there. The hardest paddle out I've had in my life.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a probably 8 to 10 foot Hawaiian day, and I didn't have the board for it. But fortunately, our roommate had this 7.4 Padillac Paisel that
Okay.
I took out, and I paddled for probably half an hour, and almost broke through and got out, and a bomb set came. I just got destroyed and washed in. I gave up. It was like evening time already,
Yeah.
like maybe another hour of daylight. And I'm like, "Ugh, I can't get out, and the waves are firing. This is the shittiest thing ever." uh, and there was a handful of guys out, but not many. There was like two or three guys just about to paddle out when I got
Mm-hmm.
into the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot, one more shot, and somehow made it out. And they all got washed in, couldn't get out.
Yeah.
But I made it, and I got out, and I got one really good wave. And, yeah.
What about surfing underneath the Golden Gate Bridge? Did you ever try that?
I never did it. I heard that spot is very localized, and it's a shitty wave.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it's just the novelty of it all.
Yeah, it's slopey, and I don't want to deal with angry locals. So.
Yeah, San Francisco. I mean, I feel like there's not a lot of guys out ever. Anyhow, I don't think there's a
Yeah.
crowded day. takes. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think
that's my
Ocean
feel.
Beach does get crowded on like the, I don't know, 3 to 5 foot glassy days, but the beach is so long, the crowd is never an issue.
Yeah. And what about Santa Cruz? You like Santa Cruz?
Yeah, I've got some friends that live right by Pleasure Point, and
Okay,
yeah, surf there in the lane a bunch.
but you have to wear a wetsuit and a lot of wetsuit, a lot of rubber.
Yeah, over the years, I've gotten okay with that, and the wetsuit technology is vastly improved. And
Oh yeah, big time.
yeah, and I ride for Patagonia. Luckily, they supply me with
The
all the good
elite
rubber I need.
wetsuits.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have the best wetsuits, I think. So, what is your life now? Just enjoyed like doing what you love?
Yeah, I'm pretty fortunate. I've never had to have a real job.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's awesome.
I do the beekeeping thing, the farmers market, all on my time. In the beginning, I wasn't sure if it was going to work out and be profitable, but people really appreciate the local quality stuff I make, and I try to keep it at a low cost and not waste a lot of money on packaging. And
Okay.
and we have a really nice farmers market in Hana.
What is the difference between getting a local, I guess, jar from you, from or any local beekeeper, let's say, versus going into Costco and buying honey? Is there a huge difference?
It tastes pretty similar. I don't know. People get joy out of appreciating, yeah, quality local products,
Of
and
course.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't say it's anything any better than. I mean, of course, there's the cheap ones at Costco that somehow they can even make honey shitty, but if you get the nice ones at Costco, they're great,
Okay.
and about half the cost. So if people want to do that, I don't blame them, but I have to charge a premium because it's a lot of work doing it small scale.
100%. No, yeah, I was just wondering if there was a difference in the honey, how the bees are raised or something, or what they're feeding them or something
Yeah,
along those lines.
I'm not sure how the. I
Okay.
assume because my bees are in a in
They're
a
true locals.
jungle,
Yeah.
they're
Jungle.
eating a lot of different plants, and maybe that helps with that. The local allergies, people say it helps. I don't know
That
the science on that, and yeah, I don't know about the nutritional properties. I assume it's pretty optimal to have bees that feed off of a variety of flowers.
So if anybody's in Maui, what farmers market are you working at?
I do the Hana Farmers Market, and it's
Okay.
every Friday, 3 to 5, and yeah, we've got a lot. Like it's really small, but everybody there is really good quality and friendly, and highly recommended if you ever make it out to Hana.
Definitely everyone needs to stop by, buy a jar of honey. You've been all over the world. Was there any other place you ever thought you would move to, or did you always know you're coming back to Maui?
Nope. But the only place I really felt like I could live here was Colorado, except that it's so far from the ocean. I can't deal with that.
Yeah. So you still need to surf. You still have that urge,
Yeah.
that yearning. You think that'll ever go away?
I hope not.
I hope not. Yeah.
Yeah, I do see people who like love surfing when they're young and they just stop doing it. I guess you get older, your body aches a little more, but try to take care of myself and do yoga, and so I can surf for a long time. That's
That's right.
the goal, and love it now more than ever even, and hope I can do it a long time.
A Patagonia ambassador. What does that mean?
Yeah, they're the coolest company
Yeah.
I've ever seen.
No, 100%.
They're-
What
They
they're due.
do so many cool things for the environment. Yvonne just basically gave the company away to like just go to nonprofit. All the
That
like every dollar of profit they make goes in back into environmental initiatives, and
Yeah, that's right. No, what Patagonia does, a lot of companies should follow suit. Actually,
yeah. I once that happened, I was like, there's got to be like a domino effect, and people see how cool this is,
yeah,
and do it. But there's so many billionaires that own companies. Like, why wouldn't you do that? But I haven't heard of anybody else doing it. So
amazing, amazing what Patagonia does and the quality of products they give out,
yeah,
they produce is awesome. So
yeah, they have
that's
a
pretty
lot of
rad.
integrity, and
A
I'm
lot of integrity. Yeah,
very grateful to be a part of their team. And And yeah, being an ambassador, they give us so much freedom to basically tell us, "Oh, go do your thing." Like, let us know how we can support you,
That's cool.
and yeah, it's cool. I still get to do surf trips and get all the best gear.
Your lifestyle, a good collab with Patagonia, in my opinion.
Yeah, thank
It
you.
works. It works together well. Perfect sponsor ish, ambassador, whatever.
Yeah, I hope it's worth it to them.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. All right, everyone. So I want to thank Hank Gaskell for coming on the show, man. I super appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on the show, dude. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, everybody.
You go
This is
left,
Mike and Hank.
I go right. Man, this wave is out of sight. Going surfing. Going surfing. Going surfing with friends. Ride this wave to the shore. Paddle out, I'm gonna catch 10 more. Going surfing. Going surfing. Going surfing with friends. I don't care if it's wrong or right. I'm gonna do it all day, I'm gonna do it all night. I'm going surfing. I'm going surfing. Going surfing with friends. Watching up on my way. It's a beautiful day. I'm going surfing. I'm going surfing. Going surfing with friends.